Tony D, and little Joan is somewhere in the house, and this is a Screenwriter's Rant on Big George Foreman, the biopic you've been waiting for about the boxer and his love for hamburgers. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 10, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. I will be at the Trainwreck Distillery tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. in Mount Holly, New Jersey. Come on out and hear my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. Now, Big George Foreman. This is a story. So he was a boxer back in the day, and he became the heavyweight champ. And then Muhammad Ali beat him. Forrest Whitaker plays his coach, by the way. Muhammad Ali beat him, and then, and this is his life story. So they start when he's a kid, and he had a vicious right hook, and then later he becomes a big thing and kind of like gets full of himself. Then Muhammad Ali or Joe Frazier beats him, right? I forget. One of the big boxers of that time beats him, and afterwards, like, his heart stops, and he has a revelation, and he becomes saved, and he becomes a religious guy. He gives up preaching, becomes a pastor, or gives up boxing, becomes a pastor, and but eventually he needs the money, and so he makes a comeback, and it's about his it's about his life, and he makes the comeback, and then the next thing you know, he's fighting again as the guy you sort of know him as, the big fat bald guy who gets back into the ring. And so it's about second chances. So this is a great story, and George is an interesting character. I gotta say though, the actor playing him doesn't seem like he's doing his voice in the trailer. His voice seems to be more gregarious, and he's not really playing it that way. And then here is the funny scene where the banker tells him, like, oh yeah, by the way, that grill deal you signed is paying off. So that's kind of funny. So April 28th, I'd see this. I would. I always liked George Foreman. He's kind of a funny guy, and his story is interesting. And it hasn't been, like, kind of done to death. I mean, like, Muhammad Ali I liked a lot too, but I saw a lot of that, and his story, here he is on Johnny Carson. Ali's story's just been told again and again and again. George Foreman, not as much. They should do one on Joe Frazier too. They probably have. But his is just interesting because it has that redemption arc built into it. He gets all full of himself, and then dies, and has this moment, and he's like, oh no, I gotta get saved, and that changes his life. So it's sort of a built-in movie. So first act, George in his early life, he becomes a boxer, becomes a heavyweight champ, and then has this moment that changes his life. It probably happens a little bit into the second act, but he has this moment. It changes his life. He says, I'm gonna preach the word of God because I nearly died. And so he starts doing that, needs the money, and then he has to make a comeback. I think the movie probably focuses on his comeback. And he never really gets into that good a shape, which is funny. And then, he, I forget if he wins. Does he win? I don't know if he wins or not. I don't know. Maybe? Or at least he tries. And he makes a bunch of money, and then, his life turns around again. Biopics are usually about the rise and fall. This is more like he has an early fall, and then has a rise again. Has sort of an epiphany, and you get the redemption arc built in. And I wouldn't be surprised I'd be shocked if the actual George Foreman did make a cameo at the end of this thing. And it was always funny that he named all his kids George. This always cracked me up. Um, so yeah, I would probably see this. I don't know if I'd go to the theaters for it, but I like the way they're rolling it out. Let's see, do they have a write up? Yeah, the miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world is headed to the big screen. Exclusively to movie theaters April 28th. Oh, here it is. Big George Foreman. Miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world is based on a remarkable story of one of the greatest comebacks of all time and the transformational power of second chances. Fueled by an impoverished childhood, Foreman channeled his anger into becoming an Olympic gold medalist and world heavyweight champion, followed by near-death experience that took him from the boxing ring to pulpit. But when he sees his community struggling spiritually and financially, Foreman returns to the ring and makes history by reclaiming the title. Oh, yeah, I guess he did. I don't remember. I don't follow sports. Becoming the oldest and most improbable world heavyweight boxing champion ever, directed by acclaimed filmmaker George Tillman Jr., from a story by Dan Gordon and Frank Baldwin and George Tillman Jr., and a screenplay by Baldwin and Tillman. The film stars Chris Davis, Judas and the Black Messiah, as Foreman, and also stars Academy Award winner Forrest Whitaker as Foreman's trainer and mentor, Doc Broadus. So it's based on a book. I hope George is getting some money here. He certainly deserves it. It's his life story. I assume he is. So, yeah, I could totally see this movie. It looks good. I mean, Forrest Whitaker is really good. He's really good. So that'll be cool. So yeah, I could totally get down with this movie. Look, these are inspirational stories, right? It's like a real life version of Rocky or Creed or whatever. I guess boxing movies are making a comeback because Creed's doing well, and yeah, I mean, who doesn't like this? It's hard not to like it. It's hard to get more excited about it than, say, any other sports movie like this, but I think it's a little more exciting because it's true, you know? Now, for the people who have been around for Foreman, you could say, well, is it too soon? Nah, I think it's about the right time. I think for the people who know the story, they like it, they go see it. They tend to be older. They'll probably wait for it on video or whatever. I think for other people, it's a good story. It's an inspiring story. It's true. And George Foreman's just a nice guy. People like him. So that's kind of why I want to see it. You know, some of the other sports figures, like I wouldn't want to see a LeBron James story. I kind of don't like him. But George Foreman I like. He's always seemed to be a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, funny guy. I will say, though, the actor playing him doesn't seem like he's playing him like as funny, which is a little disappointing. I would like to see a little more humor out of it, but I would have liked to seen, like, I don't know, who could have played George Foreman other than him. I mean, I guess you would have had to have done the transformational thing. So yeah, I assume this actor is not as fat as George Foreman, and they fattened him up for the movie, which would have been easier because you know it's quite a transformation. I'm sure there's some CGI involved and a ton of makeup, but the look is pretty good. The look, I just don't know about the voice and the delivery, but I would check it out. Yeah, Big George Foreman coming to a theater near you April 28th. And that's it for me, Tony D. And Little Joan, somewhere in the house. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. Check out my various websites and links below. Check me out at the Trainwreck Distillery in Mount Holly, New Jersey tomorrow. That's Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Hope to see you there, and we'll see you in the next one.